Okay, everybody, it's me, Gregory Mannarino. What a day. What a day. And if I didn't say it already, what a day. Incredible day on Wall Street. Got a lot of stuff to talk about here. So, yeah, it's my post-market wrap-up on this Monday, April 6, 2020. When I tell you that stocks ripped higher, I am not joking. We are talking about a 1,600 point gain in the Dow Jones Industrial Average. That's impressive. That is impressive. However you want to look at it, it's freaking impressive. I'll tell you what else was impressive. The fact that now Bitcoin has gone up 100%, nearly 100% since my public recommendation to buy it at 3,700. I'll tell you what else was impressive. If you are on my or getting my trade alerts, well, guess what? You ripped this market's face off beyond recognition today. Sign up for my newsletter right freaking now. There is a link in the description of this video. Ask anyone who got in on this today. When I tell you rip the face off beyond recognition, I have several more ticker symbols I'm looking at. And if you sign up for my newsletter, you too will be getting trade alerts. And look, I promise all of you, you're never going to lose. You're not going to lose here. I don't care what they do. I don't care what they try to pull off. I don't care how much they rig this market. It doesn't matter. We will be on the right side of this trade, period, the freaking end. So let's talk about a few other things here. So I covered gold and silver. I mean, they ripped higher. The 10-year yield, if you noticed, did gain today. That's bullish, although it still remains well below 1%. Crude oil got slammed. Now, what's really the driving force here behind the gains today in this market, or whatever may come down the pike with regard to gains in this market? The World Central Bank, formerly known as the Federal Reserve, is funneling enormous funds to the Wall Street banks, the investment banks, and they're buying the market via dark pools. Look this stuff up for yourself. Again, we all understand that the Federal Reserve has a trading desk and they're buying stocks, but technically they're not supposed to do it. They got to go to Congress first. And did you hear Janet Yellen today? Janet Yellen said, well, the Fed really should go to Congress and ask for permission to buy stocks. Well, they're already buying stocks. And they're doing it in a backdoor way, very hard to trace through the dark pools. I've covered dark pools way too many times. I'm not going to cover them again here. If you want to know how dark pools work, I place links. I've done everything. Just look up dark pools for yourself. That's who's buying the market. It's not the mom and pops. It's not, well, no, it's not guys and girls like you and I. It's the institutions who are getting, the signal from Mnuchin, buy, and they're getting all the capital they need from the World Central Bank, formerly known as the Federal Reserve. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible here. An economy frozen in time. Millions upon tens of millions of people around the world losing their jobs, out of work. And the stock market rips higher. Wow. It all started yesterday. It was kind of amazing to me, really. Saturday, the president says this is going to be a terrible week. Lots of death, a lot of death. He sends out his Surgeon General. Bad week, our 9/11 moment. This is going to be our Pearl Harbor. Then yesterday, the president says, hold it. Coronavirus looks like it's stabilizing, and I mean stock futures went through the roof, and obviously you can see how this carried out today. If you believe there is one part of this market now that is not rigged and fake, there is something seriously wrong with you here. Let's talk about a few other things. You know that already. So it looks right now, this is what it appears. A couple of big things going on. The entire mortgage industry, and I covered this weeks ago, looks like they're going to be getting a bailout or kind of a debt restructuring one way or the other. The banks will not be allowed to lose ever. Ever. And JP Morgan, by the way, in fact, there was an article, I placed a link to it, has at least $2.9 trillion in assets off balance sheet that are going to be bailed out too. Just so you know. Let me explain this to you another way. All of these banks and the Federal Reserve itself, they have a balance sheet, what they're carrying on their books. They also have another balance sheet. Every financial institution has at least two balance sheets. Most people have no idea. They have the public balance sheet, the one that they show, the one you're allowed to see, and then they have another balance sheet that no one is allowed to see. I've covered this many times with regard to the Federal Reserve, but it's not just the Federal Reserve that has a private balance sheet. All the banks, every single major bank has at least two balance sheets, a public balance sheet and a private balance sheet. We're not allowed to see the private balance sheet, but what they're going to do here, these institutions, the banks, they're insolvent. All right, they work off a fractional reserve system, but they're going to get all the capital they need to keep going by the Federal Reserve, the new world central bank. What's going to end up happening here, without you knowing about it, of course, is the private balance sheets are going to be absorbed by you. You own it. That's why, in many ways, these balance sheets are kept private. So when they need a private bailout, there's public bailouts, no doubt about it, with regard to the banks. But the banks are also getting private bailouts, stuff you're not allowed to see, stuff you're not allowed to know about. I mean, it's common knowledge. I think most of you are already aware of this. Anybody that has even a little bit of knowledge of how Wall Street works or have ever worked on Wall Street realizes there are two balance sheets. There's the public balance sheet, there's the private balance sheet. And that's just the way it is. Again, the financial system, in aggregate, is nothing what it seems, what they're allowing you to visualize. So with that in mind, the system is fake and the system is rigged. And again, this is to me outrageous that they're allowed to have two balance sheets, at least two, these major banks, but they do. And that's just the way it goes here. What do we know is going to happen here? So the mortgage industry as a whole is getting bailed out. Big oil is getting bailed out. You name an industry right now. Every big industry as a whole, and the corporations involved, they're all getting nationalized or a bailout. It's not a bailout. These are getting nationalized. Period. This is a new government. Start to get hip to this, people. Seriously. Understand where you are, and you'll get a much better perspective on what you need to do moving forward here. There's a lot of people, I'm just going to get this out here. There's a lot of people that are writing to me that are getting short this market right now. Okay, all well and good. I'm not saying you're wrong. You wouldn't believe the correspondence, the emails, the comments I get every day. But you got to be very careful here to short this market. Again, this is a new paradigm. It's a new government. It's a new philosophy. Trillions upon unlimited trillions are going to be funneled to the banks to buy the market. Bailouts on an unprecedented scale. I mean, what we've done already is taken the entire TARP from the last one, multiply that probably by 1,000. That's where we are already, and it's going to get much worse. I told you all, the Federal Reserve's balance sheet was going to explode moving forward. This is them buying everything. Buying the world. They're loading up on every single thing you can imagine, not just here in the United States, but being that the Fed is now the world central bank and funneling cash to central banks around the world, they're buying it all. This is a takeover, like I explained to you. Some people don't understand this, but this is the world central bank, the Fed, their tentacles around the world buying assets like you cannot believe. And sometimes they're even doing it through a third party. Understand, that's how they do it. That's how institutions keep that off, that non-public balance sheet going here. So, I hope you will come away with a new understanding of the markets when you watch my videos. You're never going to hear this stuff anyplace else, I can promise you. Maybe you will. I don't know. I don't follow anybody else. That's the truth. So I don't know what they're putting out. I don't know who else is talking about separate balance sheets, private balance sheets. Maybe there's another guy or a girl out here. I would imagine there's probably one or two, not that I know of. Maybe you do. But it should seem obvious to you. And again, this is common knowledge throughout Wall Street. Everyone knows there's two balance sheets, at least two balance sheets. So anyway, massive rally on Wall Street. Gold and silver skyrocketed here. Bitcoin taking off. Cryptos across the board taking off, like I've been explaining to you. Look, really, people, I work so hard to keep you on top of this market. I really do. Around the clock. Sincerely, that's what I do, and I have promised you that I would since, a decade ago, and I have never, ever failed in that. Not all my calls are right. 90% or better are correct. I think I have the best record in the world with regard to calling this market, with regard to calling what the Federal Reserve would do, with regard to telling you what would happen before it did. And I'm not looking to toot my own horn. I just want all of you to understand that I got your back. I got your back, and I work exceedingly hard to keep that status. So you know where to go to when you're confused. You know where to go to when you need a little light from this twisted, absolutely distorted environment and market that we are in. Anyway, I really hope this video has been important to you, and I think I covered some important points here. If you agree, please share this video. Please get it out there. Let people hear the truth. People know the truth when they hear it. Almost like a light bulb goes off in their head. They're like, you get hit with something. Boom. Oh my goodness, that's exactly what's going on. And I bet some of you have experienced that with many of my videos, maybe even this one. Anyway, I'm going to urge you one last time to sign up for my newsletter. I don't ask for anything, all right? Right down here in the description of this video, you will get private messages. You will get trade alerts. I sent out 2 today. And for those of you that got in on these, again, to say the least, you ripped the face off this market. And what I'm going to ask you to do is pay it forward. Take a small percentage of the profit you made and donate it to a charity that you believe in. We are all responsible for each other, and it's got to start somewhere. I decided to let it start with me. So let's pass this on, and it'll keep moving. You understand? Tell people about my newsletter. Wow, look at these great calls Mannarino made today. 2, first day out. It's epic. And many, many more are coming, I promise you. All right, I'm out of here. Love you a lot. See you in the morning.